All right. Welcome to those of you tuning in from the replay and those of you that have been hanging with me for the last 15 minutes going through announcements and leaderboards. I appreciate it. I'm really, really excited for our guest this evening. Lauren, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really, really excited to hear from you. Um, because I pulled up your numbers for the last 2 months. Do you know what your numbers look like for the last 2 months?
Kind of.
I mean, you
We can
did
talk
it,
about that
so
later if you want.
you did it, so you've got an idea. In the last 2 months, on her own pen, Lauren has submitted 47 applications for 40,000 in premium in the last 2 months on her own pen. Additionally, in the last 2 months, she has 17 new writers direct to her. So not only is she writing business at a super high level, she's building at a super high level. She's been here since June of 2023. Lauren, what did you do in business your whole first year?
Absolutely nothing. I came in, I got licensed. I did not actually officially quit, but I did have my opt login reset every month for over a year before I actually started writing. I did write my first accidental policy like week two, buy the book, and then that was literally it. I did buy some leads in between there. Also, don't recommend that. Kept buying leads, but never did anything with them. And never
You
sold any.
actually, I did pull this up. You did write one other policy.
Oh, I
In,
did.
in your first year, you've got two apps on the board for a whopping 1753, 1,753,
Okay.
two apps,
Sorry, I lied. I didn't even know about that one.
two apps. And I share this because I want to give you guys hope that you can come in here in your first year and you can suck at this, you can half quit, you can duck out, like you can, there's always the opportunity to make the decision that you're going to do something with this. So you look at Lauren's first year of two apps and then just her last 2 months of 47 apps for 40K with 17 new writers. We're talking to the same person who did very different things. So that's the conversation I want to have tonight, Lauren. So why don't we start with just introduce yourself? What brought you to Symmetry in the first place? Why are you here?
Yeah, so my name is Lauren Peach. I am direct to Kelly Bush and then Jim Larson. The very first time I said the hierarchy, I forgot his name, and he was the one who invited me to say it, and I will literally never forget it again. I'm so sorry. And I won't forget it, and I won't let you forget it, and I sincerely apologize. And I was like staring at his face, and I didn't say his name. I'm like, what was I thinking? But anyway, nerves got the best of me. Before I came to Symmetry, I was a finance manager at a car dealership, working crazy hours. I was recruited at one point by a financial firm, and they were trying to get me into, certified financial planner, kind of getting me in that route. And the problem was I needed my income, and they needed me to basically take a 6 month good luck if you make income in your first 6 months. And I was the primary supporter of the household, so that just wasn't going to work financially. Um, but I had done a whole presentation. I went through the process. We went through everything with them, and I was like, I saw Kelly keep posting stuff on social media. So plug for social media. I've seen Kelly sell everything there is to sell over the last 10 years. I didn't really know Kelly that well. We were acquaintances here in Atlanta when her and Jake lived here originally. And I saw that she kept posting that she was doing this. I'm like, okay, life insurance, this is what that other firm was doing, a part of it. And she was, offering part-time opportunities. And finally, I was like, okay, maybe this is actually the change I needed, but it was giving me an opportunity to do it the way I wanted to do it versus like giving up my whole career starting from scratch, which I did not have the ability to do at that time. So I came in, reached out to Kelly, got licensed immediately because I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm going to do this part time. And then I'm like, oh, well, 70 hours a week working, trying to do this part time, just it absolutely did not work for me. So as I really kind of got going, it was making the decision of when was the right time to leave. So in that entire year, I wouldn't say that I was completely absent. I was on calls. I was doing some training. I was apparently writing one application to one lucky client somewhere along the line. So it's not that I wasn't working, but I wasn't working. I didn't really pick up the phone to dial. I didn't get switchboard probably until maybe May of 24. So it had been almost an entire year before I decided, okay, we need to figure something out so I can make this work eventually. I'm sorry if
What
it
do you
just got
think?
really loud. It is like storming like crazy here.
Oh, really? Yeah, we don't hear it through there, through the speaker anyway. What do you think that catalyst was for you, Lauren? That made you want to stop this treadmill of half plugging in but getting nowhere to like, no, I'm gonna do something with this. What helped you make that decision?
Well, I started full time right after I left conference last year. Plug for conference if you didn't go. So I went to conference last year. Kelly had actually tried to get me like hard to go the year before, but like timing, it just wasn't right. I couldn't take off of work. So I went last year. And then when I came back, it was like, okay, I'm done with this. I actually got myself fired because I asked for them to change my hours, thinking, okay, I need to like plug into this more. I saw the vision. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. You can cut your hours back. And then 2 weeks later, they said, oh, sorry. Well, we found this guy and this isn't going to work out. So I had the decision to make. Do I say F you and leave, which I did, or stay? And I was like, I'm not, first of all, I'm not going to like beg you for my job. So yeah, I left at that point. And then I started full time.
Did you leave with like a severance with a cushion? Did you have some sort of like leeway there?
No, I had 1 day's notice.
Okay.
And the
All
guy
right.
waiting in my office the next morning when I came to pack my stuff. So yeah, it
So
was
get
great.
so game on. Like
Yeah,
like
game on. I
you
called
gotta you
Kelly. I'm
gotta
like, it's it. We're going. She's
gotta
like,
do
okay,
this.
let's go.
And so day one, you're in. So for all those people right now, we got an audience, we got 42 people on this call. A lot of them went to conference. They're coming out of conference. They're wanting to know, okay, from all of the inspiration, tell me what can I do? What did day one look like for you? What did you go do?
I honestly don't know. Probably tried to find a calendar to make a schedule because I'm really bad at schedules. Sat in my office. I don't know if I picked up the phone. Maybe I did. I joined Jim's accountability group. That was like number one thing that I did because I was so used to getting up and going into an office every day. So to not have a place to go outside of my home. I now have an office, which was a game changer for me. I went to his accountability group. So that was like get up, get dressed, and go see Jim in the morning, like check in. Jim wasn't my boss. I'm not direct to Jim, but he gave a platform that gave me the ability to have a place to go to start my day every morning.
Mm, okay, so you had resources that offered you some structure.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Structure
getting
is huge, especially when
getting
you're working for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, was this your first like 1099 work for yourself, or did you have some professional independence with your job?
Um, so technically, I mean, my husband and I had owned a business at the time. So from a business standpoint, we had owned a business. I did all the books in the background. He was the face of the business. But I had always been an employee. I say W-2 lightly. I was 100% commission. So I got a W-2 at the end of the year, but I was paid commission by my company. So I did not have a base salary. But I made multiple six figures from my previous position. So I came here knowing what a comfortable financial life looks like. And not everybody does. And it's a little bit different. You hear the opposite stories a lot of people who have never been in that position. I'm the opposite. And I've even asked Jim, I'm like, how do you like, I need you to help me with my mindset of this. Like I went from this to like 79 steps backwards versus, oh, this is a little bit of a step up. I went backwards substantially, but I did it because I was sick of toxic environments. And it's like you sell your soul for money, and is it actually worth it?
Mm, man, that's really, really powerful. It's one thing for people coming in here and their backs against the wall and they've got to make it work. And they're used to a life of 40 grand a year. I'm like, man, we can help you do that in a month.
Yeah.
Like replacing 40 grand a year is not hard. Replacing multiple six figures a year, definitely possible, but that's not usually a quick, like out of the gate, we're going to be making that kind of money here.
Yeah,
How,
I'm not making that kind of money for the record. So not yet. It is
not yet.
coming.
How,
I am on track to do it.
how scary was this for you and your husband?
I don't know if scary is the right word.
Okay.
I knew I would make it work.
Mm,
So it was just one of those, I don't remember when you have this conversation. And I think it was on accountability. I'm not sure. I listen to you everywhere I go, right? You're just like, you're on national call. I talked to you like 3 times already today. But you had a conversation, and it was maybe a couple months ago, about if you were guaranteed to stick this out for 3 years and you'll make $300,000, would you do it? Of course, the answer is yes. Everybody would say yes. But when you put that thought on the table of what if it doesn't work out, that's where people quit, right? But for me, I saw this as an opportunity. I knew what was possible because I had seen people do it. And to me, I may not be an elite producer, I may not be a speaker like Jim is, but I knew if other people who were just normal, everyday people could do it, that I could too, because I went through that in my other industry. I was essentially going, when I went into the car industry, I had zero experience, worked my way to the top. And, it took me 6 years to get to the essentially the top of where I was. And then I stayed there for a while, but it took me 6 years to get there, but I did it. So I'm like, okay, well, if I did it before, I can do it again.
Mm. Man, there's power in two things that I zoomed in on there. One was previous success gives confidence for future success, right? You did it once, you kind of know you can do it again, because the recipe for success, guys, in anything is exactly the same. Whether it's in sports, whether it's in business, the recipe is the same. You got to show up, you got to do stuff consistently, you got to arrange your life around your goal instead of trying to fit your goal around your life. But when you get that recipe, when that clicks for you, it becomes a copy and paste. That was the one thing I heard there. The second thing I heard, Lauren, was you saw people that made you believe if they did it, you could do it.
Yeah.
Who are those people for you?
I mean, Kelly specifically.
Okay.
Kelly, I mean, I knew Kelly came here with no experience, and my God, she's got 3 kids running around. I don't have kids. I've got dogs, and I can't imagine having a child, one, or doing this while having a child. So for those of you who are doing this, kudos to you. I don't know how you do it. But I saw Kelly do it, and she did it from home. And I was like, well, shit, if Kelly can do it, like I can do it too, right? Like she's doing it with 3 kids, like literally on her back. I can do this too. Also, it's really hard to follow in Kelly Bush's footsteps, right? Like, talk about following a long succession of just like the most successful people in this company. Like, we are direct to the most successful people to have done it so quickly. And it's a hard place to be, to follow that, right? Because there's like this expectation of, okay, well, she was there at this point. I'm like, well, I'm not there. I'm nowhere close to there. And it's a comparison game to a certain extent. But I mean, I would say Kelly specifically was the one that I saw. I'm like, well, she was literally selling leggings. And I had a friend who also knows Kelly. And I didn't tell her about this for a little while because I knew she was going to make a comment about Kelly selling leggings. So when I told her, she's like, oh, is Kelly done selling leggings? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm following her because she's making a boatload of money and I know exactly what this industry provides. And like, she just didn't find the right home for her to land last time, but she's found it now. And I knew that. I know the financial industry. I came in here with a little bit of background of it. So I knew that it was possible to make that kind of money.
Yeah, I'll tell you, even in my story too, when I came here the first time, I knew nobody. I came in direct to Jacob, but I didn't even know Jacob. Like we met as acquaintances in a dinner one night and had some mutual friends. So when I came in and I was struggling, I didn't have anyone that made me feel like, man, if they can do it, I can do it. I saw people doing it, but I didn't know any of these people.
Yeah.
And it was only after Jamie and Sarah did what they did, and I knew Jamie and Sarah like you knew Kelly. And when I saw that what they did at a super high level, I'm like, oh, okay. Like if they can do it, I can do it. So I can't over stress. Guys, that is why we bring so many different speakers on our calls. It's why we encourage you to get to conference and hear from the main stage and from the breakouts, because we want you to hear so many stories from so many people so you can find someone you resonate with that said, man, all right, if they can do it, I can do it. Because until you believe that, you're going to struggle to do it because you're not going to know if success is there for you. It's really good lessons. All right,
Yeah.
so you came in here. You decided after conference,
Mhm.
your job decided for you.
I did it to myself. You have a feeling when you go in and you do something crazy at your job and you're like, I'm going to get myself fired for this. And I was to the point in my career where I was confident up front that I was good enough, they weren't going to fire me. And they didn't fire me. But it was like, the backhanded, make me grovel. And there was one thing that I wasn't going to do, and it was going to be beg somebody to keep me in a position. So I was like, okay, you guys have a great day. I'll see you later.
Yeah. And you knew you could do this. You
Yeah.
had success in your past. You knew the recipe, and you saw that Kelly had done it, so you could do it. And so then you just went and did it, and it was that easy.
Yeah. And then I had to pick up the phone and, start dialing and start figuring out how to actually spend money and make money when I'm spending money and I have no income. And let me tell you, once you get to a certain point in life and life is good and income is rolling in, you have things in your life that also cost a lot of money, because at one point in time that paycheck came very easily and you have a lot of bills. So I came in
Mm.
here with a lot of just regular expenses, which were never an issue. Um,
The lifestyle you
the
built on a multi six-figure income salary.
Yeah, we had a great lifestyle. Dual
Yeah.
income, no kids, right? Like we lived it up, but I hadn't been making that much money for that long, and we had just done a full gut of our house, so we borrowed money to renovate our house. I mean, we came in here, my husband and I, with some debt, thinking it wasn't a big deal, because at the time it wasn't a big deal. It
Mm.
is a big deal now, but we've got policies for that.
Let me ask you this, because this is for people. Sometimes the enemy to big success is some success. And what I mean by that is, coming from a place of making multiple six figures, successful by every measure, coming to a place like this, where now you were up the rung, you were up a few rungs on the ladder. Now you're down at the very bottom and you are literally dialing a lead. Did you have an element or a time where you felt like, wait a minute, I am too good for this. I am supposed to be beyond this now. I shouldn't be investing the time grinding at the bottom with a single phone call, because did you have that sort of like, what am I really doing here?
I don't think in that sense. I'm not, too prideful to pick up the phone and make some money, because I know that by picking up a phone, I used to work in like a direct face to face. Like when I had a client in front of me, that was my paycheck. I was friendly as pie. I said whatever I needed to say. I agreed with whatever politics I needed to agree with at that moment for the sake of it. It's the same thing here, right? So I thought I was coming into this as not necessarily a grind, but I thought it'd be easier. I was used to having those personal conversations with clients one on one. And I thought when I came in here, running an appointment would be easier to close because I was a fantastic closer. But what I have recently realized is I was closing based off of logic in a previous role. It was numbers, it was money, it was very specific. This is more emotional. And I am not a big connector from a personal standpoint. If any of you know me, you know that. I'm a little bit of an introvert, which is weird because I was a really good closer in sales, but it was all based off of logic, not necessarily emotion. So I guess I thought it would be easier, not in the sense of picking up the phone and dialing, but I thought from a closing standpoint, I was very humbled when I came in here and I'm like, nobody is buying anything. I'm like, this is insane. So yeah.
And this was the auto industry you were in before.
Yeah, so I did the finance. So I sold like warranties, finance contracts, things like that. So like numbers, payments, obviously there was some like warranty stuff, but it wasn't like super emotional.
For the brand new shiny car waiting outside that they cannot wait to get in and smell that new car smell.
Um, I mean, it was like that for some, but not for everybody. They're
Okay.
not all like you, Jim. They can see you coming a mile away.
Uh, no, I just, it's so different because I've been in sales too, but we're selling an intangible good here versus a car is a physical thing that solves an obvious problem, right? So like what you're selling is right there in front of them. And here it's like we don't think about our mortality. We don't have these conversations. We like these are bad thoughts. We don't want to talk about it. And so very often in that appointment, this is the first time that we're giving people the opportunity and freedom to really flesh out, hey, what would things look like for your spouse if you passed? And so trying to set up that problem, that for people in sales that come here for the first time selling an intangible good, that is a new challenge for them, for sure.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest helpful tools or advice or resources that you leverage to get through that learning curve, to get comfortable on the phone, getting people to show up for appointments, learning to close? What were some of those tools that you leaned into?
I would say you can let go of your resources from a lead standpoint. I had the ability, I had a really good credit score, and I leveraged some credit when I came in here. I didn't have the income coming in, but I had some credit card availability. And I had a standing lead order from day one. It was a non-negotiable. And it was, I don't know, I think I started out at like 550 a week. And it has gone nowhere but up since then. And I don't know that 550 a week is even accurate. It was probably more than that. My SLO was that amount, and then I would add on top of it, because I had to produce. Like there was no option. Like I'll figure the debt out later. I'm good with money. I'm good with numbers. I knew how to basically arrange my life to make it work. And I did that. Is it the smartest thing? If you're not good with money, absolutely not. But you have to know yourself, right? And I use that. And I don't recommend any of my agents go out and put leads on a credit card, but you have to know where you're at and you have to know where you're going, right? Like I knew coming into this was it. From day one. There was no question. There wasn't a backup plan. So I knew I was comfortable leveraging what I had. But leads are, it doesn't matter how much training you do. If you don't have the leads and you can't talk to anybody, you can train yourself into a dark hole.
Yeah. Do you remember how many leads that 550 got you?
Um, Maybe like 20. I was on CIAs. So when I went full time, I was doing CIAs and then I was supplementing with digital Razor Ridge because I had worked some Razor Ridge like in the background, those couple months leading up to it. So I was comfortable with digital. But I went straight to a CIA, and then my supplemental orders would be like CIBs. I really miss the days of being able to buy the 50-cent leads because I would sit on a Saturday and dial for hours. And 50-cent leads, I tell my agents now, I want you to start there because there is true gold in there because they haven't been called in a really long time. And I'm really upset that they changed the rules and I can no longer buy them.
Because your contract rate?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's really it's a good place to start because you can have conversations and people aren't hanging up the phone and yelling at you.
Mm-hmm. I want to run some numbers for people. So put a 1 in the comments if $550 a week on leads scares you. We are honest and transparent here. Okay. So that scares you. Let's go out 4 weeks on this. So 4 weeks at $550, you are $2,200 in lead spend. And for that, every week she got 20 call-in A leads. So $2,200 in the hole. You have to sell as a new agent 3 policies to break even. She gave herself 80 opportunities, 80 opportunities at 20 leads a week. Do you think with 80 opportunities on A leads where you're the first person to call, what do you think the chances are you're going to get 3 of them? Of course you are. Why? Because you gave yourself lots of opportunities. So many people are scared to spend the money on leads, so they don't spend the money on leads, so they only get a few leads, and then they're like, I didn't close any, I can't afford to buy new leads because I didn't close any of these. And I'm like, you have never given yourself enough opportunity. You've got to give yourself the opportunity, and we're paid so well here that you can go in the hole a little bit and get yourself out really quickly. So I had the same mentality coming in. I mean, I knew I couldn't win. And I gave this analogy, this metaphor recently. I'm like, if you want to get good at golf, you can't just go golf 3 holes every other month and think you're going to get good. Like, you got to find the time, effort, resources to go golf a full 18 holes every week. Standing lead order, standing golf trip. Like, if you want to get good at it, you got to give yourself the opportunity. I love that you had that mindset. It's so important. All right. So that was one thing. I asked you the resources you pressed into. You said standing lead order number one.
Next I would say was leveraging Kelly. Um, if you don't use your mentor, one, they don't know where you're at. I was literally in Kelly's, I'm still in Kelly's phone. I don't know how many messages I send her on a daily basis. And I'm to the point where like, I don't need to send her a message. I don't really need the answer to this, but now our conversations have shifted, right? The types of text messages have shifted. But she told me that from the beginning. You got to be in my phone. If you're not in my phone, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you're at. And for me, I didn't need somebody to necessarily hold my hand, but I needed to make sure that the decisions that I were making were on path, that I wasn't going to fall off a cliff, because she had been there before me. So, my goal was to not fall off the cliff. Like I just need to hang on for long enough. So that's kind of, one of the things you have to have. And if it's not your direct mentor, find somebody else. There's plenty of people who will pour into you from this company. If it's not your direct upline, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Go find somebody else, because there's somebody else in this company that will.
Yeah, and I want to speak to that for a second too, because I have been very transparent in my availability to virtually anybody. Like I was around conference and people were wanting to meet me. I gave out my phone number to anybody at conference that asked. I don't care. And so I had even some other leaders come up to me like, how do you manage all of the incoming requests from people that want your time? Very simple. I give them a homework assignment and they earn my time. I have learned so many people want me to solve their problems for them. They don't want to solve the problems themselves. So if you want to earn your mentor's time, that you can't expect them to want your goals more than you do. You can't expect them to work your business for you. You got to show up and say, here's what I'm doing. I'm stuck. Cool, let's go. But you can't come and say, I'm not doing anything. I'm stuck, and I need you to crawl in my head and figure out why I'm not doing anything. I don't know how to do that. Get a therapist. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm very available. Put a 2 in the comments if you, as an agent, blow up or went through a season where you were blowing up my phone. Yeah, blow up your mentor's phone, man.
If I didn't have Kelly's phone to blow up, I'd blow up yours, but
Yeah, great.
Kelly takes the beating for you.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's the beauty of raising up leaders. I've got Jenny O'Brien. She is handling her team like a boss. I got Tara Owens handling her team like a boss. Jill and Joe, for sure, from day one, Jill and Joe knew they were going to the top of this company. So yeah, raising up leaders is great because then they shield a lot from you. But guys, I am widely available to every single one of you. I want you to win really bad. I just can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. All right, standing lead order, blowing up your mentor's phone.
And figure out your schedule.
Mm.
I'm really still struggling with this. This is the one thing that I have struggled with this since the beginning. So I almost am cursed with having too much time by not having places to be. I know that sounds like a really crazy thing, but when you have too much time, you start to think too much about all of the things that could go wrong. And I'm always a procrastinator. I'm still a procrastinator. I hate reading emails, like just like nonsense stuff that just, I feel like I'm too good to read an email. Don't email me. If you email me, I'm never going to read it. I'm going to delete it maybe 6 months from now, in a bulk. So, I needed to figure out my schedule. I'm still working on figuring out my schedule. And then eventually I needed to get out of my house. I have never worked from home. It was not for me. For me, I needed to figure out how to get an office. And I asked Jim, I was like, how far into this business were you when you got an office? He's like, a year. I'm like, shh, I'm at like 6 months and I'm dying. So, can I afford the office? No. Am I in the office? Yes, because I couldn't afford not to have the office at that point. So I needed to do what made sense for me. I've been in this office since beginning of July, which is kind of when I came out of my funk that I was in, because I was, all things were happening in life and production was down and we were closing a business and it was just a mess. And I'm like, well, I need to get out of the house. So we figured out how to make it work, and I am very happily out of my house. I can't work from home.
Yeah, the office was a game changer for me, man. I suck at working at home. I'm checking the fridge for snacks. I'm looking out the window. I see the lawn needs to get mowed. I'm looking at the molding on the floor and the needs a new caulk bead. And I'm like, I see all the projects and I'm like, I can't. I come to my office. I'm like, I rent. That's the landlord's job. I don't need to worry about nothing but my business.
Yeah, and I
So
wasn't even the one, like people always talk about like the people who go organize their pantries. I wouldn't do it. I would think about it. I would like sit there and freaking look at it and I wouldn't do it. And then I wouldn't work. And at the end of the day, I'm like, well, now I got twice the amount of work that I need to get done. So for me, there was some weird, I don't know, it was a disconnect. I didn't do it. The stuff didn't get done. And then my husband would be home and then he, stuff's a mess. And I'm like, I don't know, I was working all day. I'm like, but I wasn't actually working all day. So yeah, I was all over the place. Now I'm a little bit more structured. I will take some calls at home in the morning before I come into the office. Like today, I came in at 11. It'll be 9 when I leave here. So I took a couple calls from home, but I wasn't like, I really try to separate myself. Like my day is starting when I get to the office at 11, even though I had 2 calls before I actually got here. But, accountability call is a non-negotiable for me. So like those things happen outside of my work hours.
yeah, it's really good. You're in a season right now where you are doing what lots of agents feel is the impossible, and that is balancing production and building. Usually, people can get good at one or the other at the same time, and rarely do people do both well. And here you are in these last 2 months, 47 apps on your own pen with 17 new writers direct to you. What's going on over there on that Peach team?
Yeah, so if you've ever heard that, the progress comes 90 days later, like whatever you do 90 days prior is what's going to roll down. I went through a non-production season for like 3 months straight. I don't know what my numbers were in March. He's probably looking at them. March, April, and May of this year, I hardly wrote any business between the 3 months combined. But at the end of March, I was doing like an absurd amount of interviews, cold market interviews, Craigslist, Indeed. I have a couple warm market people on my team, but like literally two. One is working, one is not. So all cold market interviews, but I was running 40 to 60 interviews, individual interviews per week, which was a lot on top of trying to produce. And if anybody's building, you know that. I don't know that it was the smartest way to do things, but in those few months that I did it, one, I learned a lot of lessons, right? I learned that that's probably not the way to do it because my production suffered greatly. I then turned my focus to, okay, this is great. I signed up. I mean, I was putting, 15 plus people 15, I don't even know what my numbers are. Like 15 to 25 people a month in pre-licensing. Now, obviously, they're not all coming out, but I was putting a huge amount of people in and I was getting that ball rolling. So then once I kind of figured out this is really silly, I shouldn't be doing this because it's affecting me. I went back to production and I'm now seeing that rolling ball that had started all of those months ago. And now we've got a little bit of momentum. I have scaled back my interviews substantially because it wasn't sustainable. I was, at the risk of missing, interviews, which I did not want to do because I respect people's time. I'd have a no-show. I'm like, oh man, well, my next one's in 20 minutes. So if I get on a phone call, I'm going to get stuck on the phone. So then I don't pick up the phone. And then I sit there and then the next one no shows. And then it was like all day you get to the point, and I do this with appointments still. It's like you get a no show, you got another one pretty close behind you. I should be picking up the phone, but I was waiting. I was like, I want to be respectful. I'm pretty much over that. To be honest with you, if we're late, we're late. Like I literally got back from conference and I missed a interview on Saturday because I fell asleep Saturday morning, and I text the guy. I'm like, listen, I'm so sorry. I was traveling. I was like, I'm an hour and a half late. You still free? He's like, yep. I'm like, great. He just hired licensed agent. He just application came through today. So like people get it. Life happens. And when you're a human being about it, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I did pull up your numbers, and for those 3 months, March, April, and May, you still submitted 24 applications for 30K in premium, averaging 10 a month, which is not what you want to do, and that's not paying your bills and getting you what you want. There's a lot of people on here that probably wouldn't mind doing 10K a month, especially doing 10K a month and feeling like that was bad.
Yeah. Well, I would say it was definitely lower April, May. That May was also the final month that we closed our business. So there was some, external stuff. I was spending some hours having to like actually deal with closing a physical location. So my hours, but I was in the background. I wasn't producing, but like I was interviewing. I could take an interview from anywhere from the street. So no matter what, I was still working. I thought I could basically build myself out of a hole, and that didn't work. It didn't work. You learn your lesson, right? You still have to produce 10 to 15K on your own pen if you want to be an agency owner. You've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times, and I don't know why we don't listen to them, right? Like they've all been there before us, but somehow we think we can, figure it out and do it differently. But you just have to plug in and keep doing a little bit of both. So when I pulled back on my interviews, I would say I actually got more successful because I was not focused so much on that. Wherever it lies is where it's going to lie. But I have to make the production dollars so I can pay my bills.
Yeah, if people come in here, they get excited about ownership, they get excited about legacy, they get excited about building. And I've got to be so honest with everybody here. You're not going to build yourself to profitability quickly. A lot of people that go just hardcore building, unless you are independently wealthy or you got a spouse funding your everything, that's not going to be a successful business. You have to get good at production. And then once you're good at production, well, now you bought yourself runway. Who cares if it takes you 5 years to start building a team and getting to AO? Okay, cool. You're making money the whole time. You're living a life on your terms of professional independence the whole time. It's an important lesson. Speaking of AO, that's got to be coming up for you. We look at those leaderboards and those numbers. You're not even yet a key lead, but like you got AO numbers, Lauren. What are you looking at?
We're currently in month two
All
right
right.
now. I was stuck at 95%. I don't know if anybody else has been stuck at 95%. I feel like it's like the number to get stuck at. But I was stuck at 95%, I don't know, for months on end, and I felt like I could never get past it. Um, and really, what kind of moved the needle was the number of writers. So a lot of people are able to get there because they're like massive producers and they have just enough writers through that agency owner. You look at other people's numbers, and I think I have like 11 writer, 13, I don't know. I have a double digit writers already for the month. I have a few people who just started this week that are writing first policies. So, I anticipate I'll probably end up with close to 20 writers this month. And even if those 20 writers are only writing a couple policies, I'm still doing what I'm doing, then, the numbers are going to fall in line. So, my goal was just to keep people coming in. I still probably spend a lot of time with my agents that some people higher up don't, but my agents, are the lifeblood of your team, right? Like if they're successful, I've got people coming behind me that are looking to change their lives. Like not only do I get to change mine, but they get to change theirs too.
Mm, that is so good. I'm gonna pull up your numbers and see exactly where we're at right now. Put all your numbers on the spot. That's what everyone loves.
Schedule and spreadsheets are not my jam.
No, it's funny. I would have guessed you for like kind of type A scheduled, organized. I would have guessed you for that.
Yeah, I'm really kind of chaotic. If you ask me where some random piece of paper is from 15 years ago, I know exactly where it is in a stack of papers in the side bedroom, right? But I am not like super on point with like scheduling and not really a planner, kind of wing it most of the time.
All right, I got your numbers right now. With a week and a half left in August, you've got 11 writers, four of them are new, 34 apps for your team for just over 30K in premium. with a week and a half to go. That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Those are AO numbers. It's good, Lauren. It's good. We're gonna love welcoming you to leadership here.
Great.
No pressure. Me putting you on the spot, calling it month 2, and then having month 3, and now you got all eyes on you. But
That's okay.
it's good. I
I
like
got a
it.
sticky here, and I'm going to say this: no losses, only lessons. Somebody said this. I don't know what call. It was a young guy. They were calling him Lightning Rod. It was probably accountability call. I think he's on Scott Schnitzer's team. You know who I'm talking
I
about?
do. Rodion goes by Rod, young kid. I
He's
met him.
so young and just
He's
like
so
on
young.
fire.
He
Love
is
him.
on fire. He is so funny because he's so young and so naive. He doesn't even know what he doesn't know about life. And he's calling people 3 times his age, trying to talk about their finances. He is in so far over his head, he don't even know. And he's so boldly himself. Uh, Wilbur is his mentor, and Wilbur texted me. He's like, "Hey, if you want to be entertained, Rod is live dialing right now in the Mac room." I'm like, I probably want to go over there because this is gonna be really good. I do.
Yeah.
I like Rod a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just you're going to get there when you get there. People are always like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "I don't know," because if I start to, mentally focus on it, I'm going to check myself out from production. And that's, I mean, I can't be there right now. So my goal, I picked up, I had a crazy busy day today. And I'm just going to shout myself out because I picked up my phone. I made my first freaking dial and it was a 1 call close today. And it was right before this call because I had been so busy all day. And I'm like, oh, I was like, I'm going to be late for the call. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to write this policy before we get on, like onto this call. So I have some credibility. So, it's just one of those things. I'm like, well, we're just gonna roll with it. But you just got to keep going, head down, blinders on, and where it lies is where it's gonna lie.
Man, I love that advice. I lived that advice for so long. When I came in here back against the wall, I did the same thing. I just had blinders on. I didn't know what AO was. I didn't know what any of this was. All I did was went to work really, really hard to pay bills. And then where the chips landed, they landed. When I got AO, it was like, cool, what's next? I still just have to pay bills. And so I got to the top of the company really quickly. And people had watched me and Kelly coming up. They had watched us. They knew our stories. They knew us because they were all watching. We were these new, exciting people. I'm like, I don't know anybody. I know Jamie and I know Kelly. That's all I know right now because I've just had blinders on, going to work, working hard every day, and whatever happened, happened. But I couldn't get into worrying about when 130 was going to happen, when AO was going to happen. I just went to work hard every day.
Yeah.
It's good. Um, Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the
Yeah.
platform.
Oh my goodness. You're doing really exciting things, Lauren. You've learned a ton of really good lessons. You're still in the mix of learning all of it, but we can't wait to especially celebrate you at AO. That is the starting line of leadership here. You have been a leader in spirit from the time you made that decision to come in here, and watching the way that you first were such a good student. Like I love the way you pour into Kelly. You're on the accountability group with me. You're in the Mac room. You're in the SN agency workroom. Like you are everywhere learning from everybody, which is positioning yourself to be a phenomenal leader for the people that are coming on board with you. It's so great.
Yeah, you definitely have to, find association everywhere because everyone has something to teach. May have something to teach that Jim doesn't. And I would surprise myself with that, but I bet I do. I bet we all have something that somebody can learn from because situations are different, right? And we
Yep.
learn from experiences.
So good. I would not be surprised for you to drop a nugget that I didn't know and learned from you. That wouldn't surprise me for 1 second.
I'll be waiting for that day.
I will I
I'll
will
have to
te-
like think of a good nugget
I'm
when
gonna
it comes
text
to
you.
me.
I'm gonna text you when that day happens. Believe me, once you break out as AO, the invites to go on team calls, they start popping up more and more. Tara's a brand new AO. She's gonna be on the POG call with me on Friday. But the invite. So I'm gonna tune into those and I'm gonna text you the minute you hit me with something like, oh freaking, I've never heard that before. Let's go, Lauren Peach. I can't wait for it. All right.
Thanks, guys.
I love y'all. Appreciate you. My favorite agents are the ones that blow up my phone the most. You guys know this. If we've not talked this week, you have not tried. Leave Lauren some love in the comments. She does not give her time because she makes money for this hour. She gives her time to give back abundantly because lots of people have poured into her, and that's our community and our culture. So thank her for her time. Lauren, we appreciate you so much. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.